feel so free. I'll be at peace, baby. Life will be so dope with me. No worries being around me. Hold you in my arms, kiss your pain away. I ain't playing games, babe. Why don't you see? There's no other like me. I know you don't trust anybody, but as for me, there's no worries. Take you out for a special night. Low exotic by the candlelight. So romantic, shit is so right. We in the sky tonight. It's so simple. Just explore my body all night. You don't have to think so hard, cause you know our energy is right. Make my body shake all night. Rocking out to the morning light. I'll give you all my time, no lie.
Stay at the top of my game, can't fuck with me. You know, when it comes to the game, we don't move the same. I'm who you wanna be. I go hard each and every day, never miss a beat. Not I mean, you gone. Regret the day you ever stepped to me, better respect the queen.
Oh no, it's me back up in this shit again. Thought you was coming, but you been hiding behind all them friends. You just wanna play with me, you little chicks wanna play for free. Wanna pass, then get played for free. I'ma pass cause they already know that I'm good when I say I be. Now, but you never know, wanna play with me. Always smiling in your face with the fakery. You wanna talk about the last, but don't play with me. I'm real, you shit you tryna say to me. You tryna stay with me. I'ma call like I see it, then believe it, cause you're not who y'all claim to be. Recouping all my investments, I don't play for free. Said I was weak and I was stressed, but wanna lay with V.
Please. How you gon' come for me? Stay at the top of my game, can't fuck with me. You know, when it comes to the game, we don't move the same. I'm who you wanna be. I go hard each and every day, never miss a beat. Not I mean, you gone. Regret the day you ever stepped to me, better respect the queen. Who knows? How you gon' come for me? Stay at the top of my game, can't fuck with me. You know, when it comes to the game, we don't move the same. I'm who you wanna be. I go hard each and every day, never miss a beat. Not I mean, you gone. Regret the day you ever stepped to me, better respect the queen. Mothers ups when they run their mouth, got a lot to say when I'm not around. Soon as I pop out, they all hush hush like the cricket sound. They demeanor so blatant, can tell that they hating. Wanna see me fall, well too bad, y'all be waiting. I come from a place you have yet to see. Fuck around and turn boss on and flex on me. I don't wish no bad on my enemies, but cross the line and it's 113. Slicing heads like a horror scene, murking them Jason. Each time I go hard, it's to offset the hate. Who slimy, they slither, ain't no hands to shake. Go your applause, your respect, I'ma take. I'm far from a rookie, they trolling, they looking, feeling froggy. No one my killer, don't push me. How you gon' come for me? Stay at the top of my game, can't fuck with me. You know, when it comes to the game, we don't move the same. I'm who you wanna be. I go hard each and every day, never miss a beat. Not I mean, you gone. Regret the day you ever stepped to me, better respect the queen.
Everyone's a boss. Everyone's in charge. Everyone got stacks upon stacks of them green and golden balls. Placed neatly in the back of their closet, stacked up they free up walls. Be around the prettiest bitches you seen and you'd ever call. Yeah, can't pay for features or models, can't even pay for cars. Wanna talk about running the city, but can't even run the malls. Paying with these checks with their mouths, they asses steady taking falls. Kept they up and ducking till V connected in they balls. Now niggas crying and whining, got me here taking pause. Make me get a non-disclosure for interacting with every clause. I'm number one also with these nice niggas, they playing dogs. My moves stay like years ahead, your moves have been recalled. Try to be a better me, I'm begging for an applause. Thinking I'm weak and forgetting I'm holding all these cards. With these receipts and not one of your bitches half is hard. No caffeine needed, the truth's revealed here in all this sauce.
Who knows? How you gon' come for me? Stay at the top of my game, can't fuck with me. You know, when it comes to the game, we don't move the same. I'm who you wanna be. I go hard each and every day, never miss a beat. Not I mean, you gone. Regret the day you ever stepped to me, better respect the queen. Who knows? How you gon' come for me? Stay at the top of my game, can't fuck with me. You know, when it comes to the game, we don't move the same. I'm who you wanna be. I go hard each and every day, never miss a beat. Not I mean, you gone. Regret the day you ever stepped to me, better respect the queen.
you know about that? Y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all thought.
Get him shot.
This that boom bap party, shooting down the target. Send my regards to his mother and his father. Consumed by the demons, I purge it from my conscience. Load another clip, let it go, I got a monstrous flow hysterical, let him know we act retarded. This a crucial conflict, these bars sick as nauseous. As AIDS is real, as apes is Congo. As deadly as Rambo on the sights of a longbow. Harm your frills with my bars so ill. Guard your still, run along and squill. If a frog gon' tell, then a bra gon' smell. You see on your breath, puzzle look on you still. You saying, dog, money wasted on an outlook that's doomed. Got you pacing, long look on your face like it's not a chance with Sean. EXP with my squad.
This beat is straight sickening. So when we spit this nicotine, physically addicting. So listen till you're sick of me. I script critically acclaimed. Nods for the underground, lyrically insane. Feel it in your brain as I say something wild. I bet they shut it down when JK come around. It's EXP, put it in the air, yeah, you heard of me. Slaying for decades, my 10-year anniversary. Bunch of weed currency, better believe I'm currently still doing my thing. Neck deep in we the team that reppin' and made, yeah, you see that. Even the tat on my arm is rocking a B-hat. When we rap, it's a movement gaining momentum. You better move when we do this, we'll be banging against you. We some dangerous angels of death coming to get you. Reaper style in the reefer cloud, make you keep the speakers loud.
I'm so gutter, the motherfucker's throat cutter. I'm so raw like cocaine with no cutter. You know my squad is gon' bang, so don't run up. We go hard, flow flames, we don't shut up. Who want rock with me? Hit you off properly. Spit some bars, then hit the bar, come take a shot with me. Do it sloppily, claiming that you dropping heat. Yeah, you show a lot of teeth, but really you don't wanna beef. It's time to get out the sport if you cannot compete. Every time they drop a beat, I kill it cause I gotta eat. Versus if you want the heat, muscle if you want the beef. Got that marijuana cheap, tell me what it's gonna be. I'm a pro with the slick talk, fresh like a Ziploc. Keep them L's rolled, I'm ready for liftoff. It's like don't get it in if your shit's off. Even your chick loves my shit, she dancing to
Not a pretty looking son of a bitch by any means, but my personality stays shining like Mr. Clean. I'ma focus on the present, the future is all a dream. And I seen bonds break through the egos and greed. We all one, moving in unit instead of one-on-one. You're just looking stupid in this land I'm from, the guns rule. You think not, sonny, you a fool. Forget not, no not slacking, smarts back to school. Knowledge is key, confidence finish a close second. Third will be the willing to fizzle out this aggression. Part 4 is all of my dedication and force. Navigating through all of you yes men on my course. High def, but I'm old school like NES. The Sega Genesis, EXP click, bang your head to this. Russell equals excellence, Boston on the map. Haverhill Mass, throw your X up in the air and holla back.
Islamic militant, death coming imminent. Styling pre-infinite, silly grin on the instruments. EXP with the intricate syllabus, cold as Inuits. For type of fire spitting, you ain't pack enough them insolence. Welcome to America, beat you for your insolence. A socialistic influence and patriots resilience. Self from the king, period. Legend inscribed the pyramids, taking you to war like jihadists and them Syrians. From serious, my syllables silky smooth and delirious. Sentences smashing you sissies, that's nefarious. Hilarious, some arrogance, domination and parentless. Created the Sumerians, who the f*** is you barreling? Have you sucking some barrels and bow you straight inheriting a slug down your throat like I'm JFK and you Maryland. Injecting you with sarin and AIDS is my lone comparison. Like Winehouse's box is the way that I'm ever steriling.
Trees look in early fall. I don't ever get to see the pictures my kids draw. When my woman's car breaks down, I'm not the one she calls. You don't know the half. I don't throw the football in the yard with my boy. I can't read instructions and help him put together toys. Sometimes I raise hell and I might make a little noise, but you don't know the half. Well, I don't know how blue looks, but I can tell you how blue feels. I can't match the gas and go real fast and sit behind the wheel till you've walked in my shoes and been down his path. You don't know the half. I can smell fried chicken on a Sunday afternoon, and I can hear my children playing in my living room. And to me that's better than seeing the sun, stars, and the moon. But you don't know the half. Well, I don't know how blue looks, but I can tell you how blue feels. I can't match the gas and go real fast and sit behind the wheel till you walked in my shoes and been down this path. You don't know the half. I'm addicted to the way that she lets me breathe. I'm holding her hands now. Where does she come from? Where does she run to? Where does she go? Where is her love? Where is her home? Be my lady, yeah. Ooh. If forever was forever, babe, we would be together, baby. If forever was forever, babe, yeah. We would be together, baby. We had one night, one moment, one chance at love, but we had it for each other and we lost our touch. So we can't go no further, no. Stuck right in our tracks right there. So baby, can you believe that we fell off in the deep end? I'm addicted to the way that you feel me, to the way that you care. You're somewhere out there. Whoa. If forever was forever, babe, we would be together, baby. If forever was forever, babe, yeah. We would be together.
We found love, we found us, we found love, yeah. We need trust, we're giving up, babe. We found love, we found us, we found us. We need trust, we're giving up. If forever was forever, babe, babe, we would be together, baby. If forever was forever, baby, we would be together. If forever was forever, baby, yeah. Together, 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 forever, forever, yeah. We'll reach for the stars, take it that far. Oh, baby, come back home, baby.
I got this phone from my dad. Baby, I'ma stand up on it. Ain't nothing gon' make me move. A legacy left for me. Baby, I'ma walk up on it. 'Cause I know what I gotta do. They may be on right now, but somehow, trust me, I got next. They may be on right now, but somehow, trust me, I got next. Once I put this shit on lock, don't try to take it away, because you're gonna lose. You think I'm soft when I'm not. Don't you underestimate, 'cause you're gonna be the fool. Oh. They may be on right now, but somehow, trust me, I got.
Worst snowfall in its history. A raging blizzard that came in on winds of up to 100 miles an hour, bringing death and destruction to the whole region.
Declaration. What we believe is happening, Carl, is that the president is likely to invoke the Stafford Act here. That's a procedure that was initially started back in the 1970s to deal with national disasters, and it unlocks funding from the federal government for FEMA to respond in localities that have been hardest hit. In this case, the possibility is that you're looking at a national declaration of
Ordered the U.S. Army to go in and do whatever it could to help. A report from Providence.
Story centers on the state of emergency declared this morning in Buffalo. News Center's Mike Pegasus explains.
Troops from across Massachusetts were in places like this. They boarded about 24 buses, and then they left from near Springfield, Braintree, and here in Melrose.
Winds will increase to 50 miles per hour tonight and continue through Wednesday.
Fighting critters in the front yard ever feel like you're in the front lines? You buy tons of name brand canned killers that swear up and down they'll take out the problem first spray. Well, our intel says otherwise. Forget all that. Call us, Old Colony Pest Control. Tell them that Red Revere sent you. We handle commercial and residential pest control needs. Take care of anything from ants, roaches, ticks, mosquitoes, rats, and more. No wildlife or termites at this time. Call us at 774-400-5993, and we'll bring in the big guns.
Let me tell you who to blame. Blame the boy lying at your feet. his body oozing life through the hole in his stomach where the bullet tore him apart. Blame him for challenging you, for not looking away and for not backing down when you pulled out the gun. Blame your mother for bringing you into this world when she was but a kid herself and for dragging you up, not bringing you up. Blame society for not giving you hope. Blame your father for not being there, the man who looked after himself instead of looking after you. Blame the gun in your hand for making you a target, for making you more likely to be picked on. Blame the dead boy, blame your mother, blame society, blame your father, blame the gun, blame anyone but yourself for not being strong enough to put down the gun, to break the cycle.
Brockton is proud to be the city of champions. With a rich sports history, Brockton is the hometown of boxing greats Rocky Marciano and marvelous Marvin Hagler. The city's athletic legacy continues with the success of Brockton High School sports teams. Known for athletic excellence and good sportsmanship, the BHS athletic program was selected as the #1 athletic program in Massachusetts by Sports Illustrated. The school's Brockton Boxers have been a longtime powerhouse in high school football. In fact, the BHS football program has been regarded as one of the most storied, successful, and dominant high school football programs of all time. The BHS boys soccer team recently won their first state championship in 2017, leading them to be ranked 7th on USA Today's list of top high school soccer teams across the country. These are just some of the many reasons why Brockton is the city of champions.
Live Brains. You are watching Boobazoo.com. Coming up next, The Booth with Sinister One. Send more fops.
It's caught in the crossfire.
Wonder if I can see the N-word. Wait, can I really see the N-word? What up, man? What up, man? Big ups, man. We up, man. You pussy ass man, f*** y'all. Cause I'm that. I'm that.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
This is blasphemy. This is madness. This is The Booth.
And we're here broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You're listening to The Booth, and you guys saw my public service announcement
as we came on the air tonight. That was Samuel L. Jackson, Blaine. A very powerful public service announcement, especially with the news that's out there today. We're going to get into that in a little bit. My first guest is on with me, as you can see her up in the upper left-hand corner. My sponsors real quick, and I got to thank everybody. My guest up here, my first guest, she was actually tuned into the show last week when the zombie apocalypse went full tilt last week. As you guys can see, I was able to survive the zombie apocalypse. I was able to escape. We had a White House press conference that cut into my show last week. And I got to get into my sponsors real quick. MDB Electronics, Michael Douglas Ferretto. If you want your controllers fixed, send them out back within 20 hours. Lifetime warranty. Also, Viana Marie's music is available online now. It's personal. Check it out. Also, Tactical Target Systems. If you're zombie targets, you want to head out there and get your zombie targets look real fresh at the range. Check out Don Robinson. Get Tactical Target Systems. Got other targets to choose from. Yeah, check out the website. Also, for everyone who loves my show, I love BostonSports.com. Check them out. We give a shirt away every chance I kind of get for those chat. Also, we support veterans here. Old Colony Pest Control, Carbonell, Veteran Dome, Residential. And before we get into the news booth, I've got my first guest here, but I got to thank everybody in the chat right now. Dave Haggerty's in the chat. Jamie Hodges, back. She's our second guest. Amber Smith, got your shirt on. IGY6. It is a program where they put veterans, service dogs, veterans who suffer from PTSD. Dogs are there to be their support. And this is the second year. My guy Travis Projecton is involved with it. And I will be the DP at the IGY6 event this Saturday night for the second year. Ecstatic about it. Amber Smith, thank you. But my first guest, before we get into the news booth, she is running for Southeastern Regional Technical High School. It's a mouthful, but don't laugh. That's my alma mater. I graduated in '84. She is running for the school committee. And I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we're going to get into this interview because we got a good show tonight. We got 2 interviews, so I want to make sure I get everybody in there and give them a fair time. So please, ma'am, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Keith, for having me as one of your guests here tonight. My name is Maggie Pinney, otherwise known as Maggie Pinney, and I am happy to be here with you guys tonight. Last week's show was fun. I loved it. I was rolling. It was so entertaining.
Thank you. I try, you know, a lot. You did? Yeah. I try to entertain. I'm trying to do something in Brockton that really hasn't been done before with this podcast. I mean, I've been doing this before anybody else. I've been 2000. So this podcast is way ahead of other podcasts in the city of Brockton. And it's great stuff to get everybody on here. And once again, I just got to let everyone know, my show does get out to a lot of viewers, gets out to a lot of people. And any politician who wants to come on, you're welcome to reach out to me and come on. It's an open forum. Anybody. So I just want everybody to know that we are welcome to have anybody. I love when people go. We had the mayor himself on. We've had Michelle Dubois on. We've got you on right now. And I've got some really, I got some
recommended people too for your show in the past. It's a really, really good program you're doing. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing from your perspectives, from Brockton representing, and it's on.
And you oversee a pretty popular Facebook page too, Brockton Political Central, correct?
Correct.
Yes, and there's a lot of stuff that's out there that's going on there's a lot of discussion going on right now. So if you guys want to go check it out and see what's going on, you can check it out. But election is next week. And I got to get to the meat of the questions and some things here. And I actually had to change some of my questions because of some of that happened in the news the past 2 weeks that I think really needs to ask both of these people running. So she just introduced herself, Maggie. I want to thank you for coming on. First thing I got to ask you, what do you bring to the table for this committee?
Experience, advocacy, empathy, understanding, education, varied knowledge, and the willingness to collaborate on multiple levels.
And what I want you to do is let the people know, if you are elected to this position to represent Brockton for Southeastern, because for those who don't know what Southeastern Regional Vote Tech is, I went to Southeastern Regional Vote Tech. I graduated with a theory in diesel mechanics. And for those who say that we need tradespeople in this world right now, you do. I'm not going to lie. I graduated in 1984. I actually was double promoted, graduated in 1984 at the age of 16 and a half. 4 years later, I got a job on the MBTA as a fueler, worked my way up. I spent 20 years on the MBTA, and now I'm at Logan Airport. I was a diesel mechanic for the MBTA, which that trade I learned right there at Southeastern Region. I was a kid from Brockton, and I was high honors at and I took that, what I learned there, and I brought that knowledge to a career, and I made a career out of it. So for people who say Votechs are needed, they are needed. They do give people a. So what I have to ask you is what is your biggest challenge if you get elected? Southie, what is your first back out the gate, and what is your biggest challenges?
Basically to make it known, as I have as a parent in the past, that I'm serious. I want it to be completely understood that I'm here and I've made sacrifices and commitments to the school and its district and everyone who's a stakeholder there, from the students to the families, all up through to the other school committee members, that I'm here and I'm serious. I'm serious, I'm here for the long haul. And I want them to understand, as I had tried to make very clear when I went to the school committee meeting last year, or earlier this year in June, and I spoke to all of them, every single member of the committee, thanking them, showing my gratitude, and letting them know that I'm here representing other families, other parents, and other kids, other students. And, you know, I didn't come out here to play. So that's something that I'm wanting to do amicably. I'm wanting to be able to build and maintain relationships with the rest of the school committee members, but I'm trying to be, you know, I'm thinking of the families and those students, and that's driving me. That's my driving force towards making improvements in what I've said before, top to bottom, bottom to top. But the number one team are those families and those students at the school, because they come to the district, like your family brought you into the district, you know, a young boy, a very talented young man who excelled, not only academically, but in the trades. I'm trying to create as many opportunities for all the students throughout the communities, representing vocational technical education as well as academics. You know, they're equally important, and you know, the school model's excellent. It's a wonderful school. My son's been there. He's a sophomore. His first full year. You talk about your high honors and your excellence. My son got a perfect score on his MCAS inside of Southeastern Regional School District. Perfect, perfect score. I was shocked. He'd always done well in the Brockton Public Schools, as did my girls, you know, in various ways, in various classes academically. But it was important for me to expose him to experiential learning, you know, hands-on, you know, not only academics, you know, because that is where you'll see so much challenge and rigor if you're not just focusing on the books and the tests, you know, and even the MCAS, because that's not why they're there. You know, that's not why kids like my son are there. You know, they're there to take these opportunities and run with them, you know, and you, right, you are an example, a role model. I'm going to tell my son about you, because I did not know. I
Yeah,
honestly did
and
not
one
know.
of the things is you know I went to Southeastern. My first year was 1980, and then at that time there weren't many minorities in Southeastern region. So I did go through some issues there with some kids because I was black. Because a lot of people who don't understand Southeastern region, it's several towns. It's Brockton. It's other towns involved in going. So I had white culture thrust right into my face, and I built relationships with a lot of white friends that I grew up with who became lifelong childhood friends. You know, stuck up with me. And I was hazed. I was hazed from freshman to junior year at Southeastern Regional because that's how it was at that time. And then I went down to Louisiana with my grandmother, and I came back to school 2 pounds, and I must have had a double my growth spurt, and then no one wanted to mess with me senior year.
Right.
But it was a great learning process for me because my junior year I took diesel theory. That was what I did. My junior year I took a job at National Rental in Stoughton. Those who don't know how vocational school works, you have academics, which is classes, and did 2 weeks of shop. But in my 2 weeks of shop, I ended up getting a job because I knew, and I took my job at National Rental in Stoughton. So what happened with me that I went to school for 2 weeks for academics, and then 2 weeks I didn't go to school for shop because I had a job working in. I was fixing bobcats and thinking that stuff right down on 138. I was getting a check at 16 years old, working on vehicles. I had 2 weeks of classes outside of school, and it made the school year go by this quick. I had most of all of my credits in my senior year. I was actually to leave early and go work full time every week because I had already had my credits. So for people who want to work hard, want to take the advantages of, and you learn the values of making money and working. My fourth question for you. These next 2 questions are things that I have to ask because of the things that have come up in the news couple of weeks, and I'm going to ask these questions of both politicians that are on tonight. We've got this issue going on right now where we've had this attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband. We've had some other attacks. Stepping up and volunteering to run for any office, any seat, anywhere, even in the school committee, the threat of violence from knuckleheads and people political lines don't match up is there. What are your thoughts on protecting politicians in this day and age right now? Because this is getting to be people feel like they're kids. So like you were in the school committee, you were making decisions for kids. But I hate to say it, we're dealing with a parent base right now that thinks that they're entitled to everything. And it bugs me that everybody thinks they're no wrong and the teachers are all wrong. Everybody's wrong, but their kid can never do no wrong, and they think they're entitled. And sometimes these things, we've seen it in Boston. We've seen parents going to school with guns to confront teachers. I mean, what do you think we need to do to protect politicians at any level? At any level?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be selfish and be thinking that politicians are the priorities to be protected. Those kids need to be protected because long before the current climate, you had school violence where kids are killing kids. Kids are shooting kids. Okay, so my thing is that it needs to be a comprehensive, protective, and safe environment for anyone that goes into those buildings in the district and leaves, whether it's sun up, sundown. I'm not trying to make it about me as a politician. I'm already making sacrifices during this campaign because I'm not thinking about me. I'm not trying to use this as a leg up to position myself to higher political areas. I'm here because I'm about those families and those kids. So whatever plans are made, it has to be comprehensive and it has to include everybody, every stakeholder, including politicians. I'm not, above anybody else as a politician. No, I'm a human just like anybody else that walks in and out of those buildings. So whatever gets done, and these are conversations, I agree with you, these are conversations to happen, but they've been needing to happen even before the current climate. Because hello, how long ago did things happen? Sandy Hook was how long ago? Before that, Columbine? Before that? Come on now. You know, a leader and a politician is best serves their constituents by not thinking and focusing on their own safety and protection. They're thinking about everybody else as well. And that's what I would want to do, bringing these discussions to the table so that not only parents can feel safe, addressing and knowing that their concerns, their valid concerns, are going to be heard, you know, same with the students as well as those, you know, other administrators, educators. Everybody should feel safe, not just the politicians. Come on now. So that's my thing, right? I've always been a comprehensive, holistic thinker and visionary. So whatever I get into, you know, I'm thinking holistically. I'm thinking of everyone, not just me. So I feel like you're right. These are valid concerns, you know, but things have been ratcheting up for decades. It's not been in the last 6 years.
Exactly. It's just getting worse. We've got a lot of people in the chat saying hello. Felicia Damon Pendel, she says she wishes both of you guys the best. She's talking about the upcoming guests also. She says Maggie and Jamie are great candidates. They're 100% for every family. They're genuine and they both have compassion. Both will work hard. Thank you, Felicia, for that. My fifth question here before I get you out of here. Big news today, unfortunately, have a death of a rapper. He goes shot, 28 years old. And, you know, it's just horrible. You know, we get tired of it. We go back and forth. And I put a post out this morning because I wanted to speak to us, the Black community, because we know about this gun violence. We've been dealing about this gun violence. Every time something happens, we always turn our backs, or we never really say anything. We had a barbershop shooting in Dorchester last week, where we all know, anybody who works politics or anybody who works with the police, they all know barbershops since 1991, behind the scenes, these gangs have been told are off limits. No violence is supposed to happen in churches. No violence is supposed to happen in barbershops. Those places were considered off limits to the gangs, yet we now have this happen. Gun violence is really pissing me off. We, as a community, for Black people, what do we need to do to stop this? You can't stomp your hands and feet and try to force people, but what do we need to do?
We need to unite. There's not been any unity. You've got all these different factions. Everybody's concerned about their particular organization and what their thing is doing, what, you know, where their hands are being dipped into. You have to go old school. You have to unite. These issues are community-based issues where the community needs to just forget about their egos and their ambition and come together, you know, think out of the box and come with ways that have worked, ways that we can try that are new, and just collaborate, you know, come together. That's not, I don't remember that. I don't remember ever seeing that happen, not in Brockton. You know, I had my little circle, I had my little network of people, you know, my little micro community, but I have never, I'm born and raised in Brockton, okay? And I left, I went to Boston. I saw how things went down in Boston, but I loved Boston because a lot of the neighborhoods and communities are about trying to at least come together, you know, and make things better for their residents. But I see disconnects in Brockton. You know, it's just like everybody's out to get theirs, get mines. It's about what I can entitled.
Yeah, I feel that's part of that entitled.
Am I lying?
So, no, you're not. You're exactly right. That's why things, I think, have gotten worse. And I think that's why we're seeing people walk up into barbershops that used to be a safe place since 1991, when people finally got fed up with all the violence. And then we had to come down and say, hey, first of all, we're going to take the first steps and we're going to make certain places hands off. Because when you shoot somebody in the barbershop, you kill the community because people don't, and I'm going to talk about that in my news booth later on, but again, that's a whole nother topic. But can you please let people know how they can follow you on social media and stuff? The election is November 8th. Whoever you're voting for, people, please vote. Remember to vote. It doesn't matter what your party line is, as long as you vote. Because the one thing that pisses me off is when I get into a debate with somebody and it kind of gets heated, and then they say, well, that's why I don't vote.
The apathy is real.
Oh.
I can be located on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn, professionally and personally, as well as my Maggie Pinney for Southeastern Regional School District page for this particular journey that I'm on with this campaign. But I'm accessible. I've always been with the Brockton Political Forum, as well as the myriad of other groups and pages that I admin. It's not just that one. I'm on a ton of different kinds of very platforms. So I'm accessible. You can message me. Message me. I'll find you. Come on. I'm not afraid to have communication with people. So I like actually communicating with people.
Hope Amaral Malinati. Maggie has many years of experience collaborating so that the beneficial decision is made. It is clear that Maggie and Jamie will work hard for all the families' situation. So great stuff from her. He says Maggie Pinney for Southeast Regional School. Alicia, yes, we talked about Mr. Cardoso last week, but what we're going to do here, we're at 7:23. I've got to get this next guest on her speak. Jamie Hodges is waiting in the wings patiently, but I got to thank you for coming on this show tonight and speaking with us. And one thing I know is that you're true, because I can see it in your facial expressions and how your delivery was, that you're very passionate about this. And I wish you all the luck in the
Thank you so much, Keith. Thank you for doing what you do. I appreciate you and your vision, and keep maintaining.
Thank you very much. So, guys, we're going to be right back. I'm going to get my guest in here. I'm just going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with more Booth after this. You're watching The Booth on .com, YouTube, LinkedIn, everywhere. YouTube, subscribe, do what you can. I'm going to be back after this.
nice on the beat.
Every time that you come through, you know I gotta be around you. I can't get my eyes off you. Ooh, there's nobody else that I want. Those feelings I have are true. Staying by your side every day and night with you. Why don't you see? I can be so faithful, baby, and make you feel so free. I'll be at peace, baby. Life will be so dope with me. No worries being around me. Hold you in my arms, kiss your pain away. I ain't playing games, babe. Why don't you see? There's no other like me. I know you don't trust anybody, but as for me, there's no worries. Take you out for a special night. Low exotic by the candlelight. So romantic, shit is so right. We in the sky tonight. It's so simple. Just
All right, it's your boy Sinister One, broadcasting live from the City of Champions. We are in the booth, and as I said, I got to fly along here. I got a whole show to give you guys tonight, but my first guest, I got to thank her, Maggie Pinney, for coming on. Great stuff, great interview. I wish her luck. She's running for Southeastern Regional Vocational Technical High School. You think I'd be able to say that I went there? School committee. My second guest is coming up here, Jamie Hodges. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and we're going to give her her questions so she can answer. Jamie, can you introduce who you are and what?
Yes, so my name is Jamie Hodges, and I'm running to be the Brockton representative for Southeastern Regional School Committee. A little bit about my background is I attended Brockton High School. I graduated in 2012. And in 2016, I received my bachelor's degree in management. And in 2020, I graduated with my master's degree in management. And I'm currently working on my doctorate degree in business management. And I am running for Southeastern Regional School Committee.
Nice, good stuff. I like seeing the youth get out there and get involved. Graduated in 2012, so that's far back. And see you steady grinding, continuing your education, doing what you have to. So I'm going to ask you the same questions that I asked Maggie. My second question for you: what do you bring to the table for this school committee? You know, you're representing Brockton, even though there's other towns and other members coming from other towns representing. What do you bring in your representation of Brockton?
What I bring to the table is I bring the educational equity. So the mission of Southeastern is transform students into lifelong learners. I consider myself as a resident of Brockton and as a community leader, I am a lifetime learner. I am the person that's, ready to, further their education, learn all I can learn. And I'm always looking for different opportunities as well. I also bring to the table being a community leader. I'm out there in the community every time there's an event. I sit on different boards, such as an alternate member on the Zoning Board of Appeals. I sit on different, 2 different other boards in the city, along with, starting my own nonprofit in the city, bringing those groups of people together so that we can, have a common place that we can come together, let's do something good in the city of Brockton. I also bring that transparency. Being able to have someone that's transparent on the school committee board is very, important as well. So bringing that to the table, as well as, being a person that's going to stand up and advocate for all students, not just the Brockton students, but I want to be there for every student. It doesn't matter which district of the district of Southeastern that you live in. I'm there no matter what. I will committed to answer your emails, your phone calls, whatever you need. You can always call me and count on. I'm a person that's a doer, not a shower. I'm a person that's going to get the job done and make sure that if you have a complaint or concern or anything, that I'm going to bring it back to the school committee, and we're going to have a solution for that.
And if you were to get in, my third question for you, if you were to get in and get elected, what do you think is going to be your biggest challenge for 2023 out the gate? And what do you see as something that you add to your things that you've tested at?
Yes. So I think with any new position, there's always going to be challenges. You being the new person on the board, you have to learn everything, be caught up to speed. So an important thing that I'm going to do is make sure that I talk to those, those school committee members that's been on the board for a long time. If I'm like need something to learn, I'm going to be that person to have that determination to tackle those challenges head on, no matter what the challenge is. I'm a type of person is I'm going to get through that challenge. I'm going to make sure that I am a person that's going to, stand by my word, a person that's going to make sure that all those students, when they need someone, I'm right there. Every time they say someone needs something, Jamie Hodges' name is going to be immediately the person's name that pops up. And you said the second part is what I plan to do. The first step that I want to plan to do is I want to get caught up to speed. I want to know, being a new board member when elected is I want to know what's happening. I want to hear firsthand from those students, from the teachers, administrators, even the parents, like, what do you notice that's happening at this school? What do you want to see happen? What type of changes do you want to see? Because it's important to always get feedback from the students and parents and administrators that experience it firsthand every single day, to tell me what's happening. So then I'm that voice that can go back to the school committee and say, hey, this is what's happening. Well, how can we change this so that these students and these parents are satisfied, with this school?
Great stuff. Now, I know you were listening. I am a graduate of Southeastern Regional, and as I had mentioned, I love the school. I love the fact that I was able to get my hands and learn trade, all at the same time. Once I hit my junior year and I was in theory, I was already making money. I learned how to make money here working in the co-op program. Now, one of the things that I do know about Southeastern Regional has upset me, and I get it, it is kind of changed with workforce. I was very upset to hear how many of the vocational programs have dropped out from the school. I went there. You had auto mechanics, auto body, specialized auto, that was when all the computers were just coming around. So they had a secondary shop for specialized auto. They had metal fab. They had building and carpentry. They had welding. And I'm hearing that, a lot of these Votex are kind of going by the wayside, and not just Southeastern, but a lot of them are dumping those programs that I feel is still useful trades. I thought I heard plumbing was no longer. Is that not true? Still there?
I'm not.
I'd have to find out.
I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I have to find out. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I'll definitely find out and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, because they used to have, when I went there was a ton of vocational opportunities. Now, I heard that they added some stuff like CSI there for vocational. That is something needed. Television and production, that's needed. Kelly Hanlon says plumbing is still there. Okay, good, because I look at these trades and I'm hearing, I know that where I was at Diesel, a lot of that stuff is by kind of the wayside. Glad to see plumbing. My question for you, number 4. We've had these stories of politicians being attacked, and everybody who runs for a seat, you're really a volunteer at this level. Really a volunteer. You don't really start seeing anything big as far as getting paid for what you do. Not all about that. But the problem is that today, like I explained to our first guest, Maggie, that we have a bunch of people who feel like they're entitled to things. Feel like their kid, like you've seen it, the parents whose kids can do no wrong, and you try to tell them, and the teacher's the bad person in this situation 100% of the time now. I remember when I was younger, if my parents got the call from the teacher, I already knew I was going home to an ass whipping. I knew it. If the teacher had to call my dad or my mother, I was doing the Charlie Brown walk all the way home. I would walk extra slow from school because I knew I was getting my ass whooped if I, and we don't have that today. We don't have kids with fear. We have a bunch of entitled brats. Parents defend them, and I don't like that. So how do we protect people at these meetings, and what would be some of your ideas as far as protecting politicians? Because we're seeing it in the news. It's getting kind of crazy. What would be some of your ideas?
Yeah, so my first idea, like Maggie said, is always the students come first. Whenever in any situation, it's always the students and administrators because they're experienced it firsthand. But if we are in a not a city council, if we're in a school committee meeting and we have, like you said, an irate parent comes up and tries to attack. So my first idea would be to, have maybe a police officer or a security guard present in the room. If like me being a member on the school board, if I know I already have a parent irate and this parent's telling me that they're going to come to this meeting, I'm already going to want to be prepared. I always like to say, like, be a person that's like, have too much and then not have enough. So I'd rather just have that police officer there, that security guard there just in case. And then that parent probably say, oh, wait, let me not do what I think I was going to do,
Is that something you feel we should make mandatory? Because I don't think that's mandatory at this time. I don't think having a police officer at a school committee meeting or whatever, I don't think that's mandatory. Do you think that you're at a point where you might have to stop making that mandatory? Because during COVID, we saw these crazy videos of people at school committee meetings getting violent, and it's scary. Right. It's scary. So do you feel that's something we should make mandatory, or do you think it's something?
I think that I was gonna say, because if we do mandatory, then parents maybe would know it's there and not like offer like resistance, for coming in. But I think that it should be something by case basis. So when you sit on a school committee, most of the time you're gonna have that parent calling you complaining about XYZ. So you're gonna know in advance. You're gonna kind of be able to like connect the dots and say, okay. Then when they say they're coming, you're like, I'd rather be that person. Say, okay, this parent's coming. Can we have like maybe a police officer on standby or security guard on standby for this, this meeting that is scheduled. So it's like something that like they can either be in the parking lot, even in the school, just having that presence can make that person like, oh wait, I shouldn't go do that because I see them outside, so that's more offering of protection, right. And that's also like protection for the students or the parents that's attending that meeting as well. Cause they're like, okay, well, maybe this person made a big ordeal, on social media about the situation. And like, oh, well, that this committee took that extra step to have that police. I feel safe going in and voicing my opinion on the situation versus, as the parents that's like, yeah, I'm not going there, So I think that it would have to be probably like a case by case to make it mandatory. But I feel like as a person, that's ran for office, that would make me comfortable as well, having that extra sense of security, because like you said, anything could happen. So just having that, like, just being able to say, I can relax, instead of being like, tensed up. So I definitely agree with that.
And my last question to you is a question that I had to throw in here tonight. I had 4 questions, but I had to get this 5th question in because this incident with the Migos and Takeoff at 28 years old being shot in senseless gun violence. And then I was already going to talk on the show about the attack of the Dorchester barber who was shot and killed in Dorchester barbershop, where we, as I said earlier, we all know that barbershops were discussed amongst gangs and police departments in the 90s that they were to become safe havens. They were supposed to be non-violence, going to kill the black community businesses, start shooting up black-owned restaurants and black-owned barbershops. So in 91, barbershops were told to these gangs, that's off limits. All that type of stuff is off limits. The drama, the stuff in there. And we have somebody walk right up in a Dorchester barbershop to the well-known barber. I'm tired of it. And I see this thing with Takeoff in the rap industry. We've lost a ton of people in the rap industry, and that's the black community. Let's be honest here. You got Nipsey Hussle, you got P&B Rock. Now you've got Offset's family member is now dead. Takeoff is now dead at 28 years old over a dice game, over a simple dice game. And one of the things that aggravates me in the black community is that for years we've always turned our blind eye. We all know about what happened. We all know why it happened. We all know how things escalate and get heated over certain. I got to ask you, what do we need to do? Because we always saying we need to do this, we need to do that, but we never do it. We always rah, but then when it comes to gun violence, we never do what we're supposed to really do that we know we're supposed to do. I'm asking you, what do we need to do? Because I'm getting real tired of this. This is getting crazy.
One thing I could think of that I know we need to do is build a better relationship with our police department. Like, we need to be able to have that trust. Community and the police need to come together. It shouldn't be like, a divided thing. We should all be able to come together if there's a problem, an issue, some sort of thing that's happening, be able to have that trust. That should happen. But my main goal is that's why a main reason why I started the African American Association of Brockton is I wanted to create something that, like it's always said, like everybody's always trying to get ahead of one another. I'm the type of person is I want to make something where all of us can come together. I don't care what your nationality is, what your skin tone is. Like it doesn't matter to me. Let's come together. Let's plan events. Let's get together. Let's bring the city together, for something positive instead of, all of us always coming together for something negative. So I think that, Mass has one of the strictest, laws when it does come to guns. So I think it's more of, having more police officers and bringing that community together with the police department to, hear from the community. The police should be out in the communities hearing what we want. What do you want to see happen? What do you think should happen? How can we lessen this? And then we come together with that. They come together with that feedback and develop a solution so that we're working together instead of apart.
And I got to give Brockton Police a big, huge applause and props, because Brockton Police, for those who don't know, Brockton Police actually just opened up a satellite station inside Westgate Mall. Now, they did have a satellite station a while back located in the Save-A-Lot, where the Save-A-Lot and CVS is up on Cary Hill, but that has been since closed down for a long time. And I didn't really like that location. I understand what they were trying to do. It was community policing. It was good to see that, but I think having a satellite station, community policy-based station in Westgate Mall, I love it. I love that idea. People are shopping. People can maybe, and like you said, we need to talk and build that relationship. Hey, you know something about a crime? Guess what? People don't have to see, you don't have to worry about someone seeing you walking into the police station. You could go to the mall, Best Buy, and then say, you know what? I got a tip, but let me go to Best Buy, get my TV, and then I'm gonna swing by the police station inside the mall, and then maybe I'll give my anonymous tip. You know what I'm saying? And it's things like that. That's the stuff that happens, because sometimes it's just something simple like that. Somebody's just scared to be seen going down to the police station. They don't want to be seen. But if you're at the mall, hey, I seen you at the mall. Oh yeah, man, I was at Best Buy. Oh no, I didn't. Right. I wasn't doing this, and that's why I want to mention this. Felicia says absolutely. That's what made you a great candidate when you ran for Ward 2. How can people find you? How can they follow you? How can they get you ready for November?
Yes, so a week from today. So I have a Facebook following page which says Jamie Hodges for Southeastern Regional School Committee. It's very long, but that's the whole Facebook page. My email is hodges4se@gmail.com. You can always find me there. I'll be in your neighborhoods. You can always Facebook, my personal Facebook or my campaign Facebook. I'm always around. I'm always in the community doing something, so you can always find me.
and you're young, and I'm going to tell you something about Southeastern that you're probably going to be shocked and appalled by when I tell you this, because you're young. You don't know this about Southeastern Regional. So back in the day when I went to Southeastern Regional, one of the big things about Southeastern Regional, and all the old school heads are going to laugh and die, we had what was called the quadrangle, which is where in the middle area of Southeastern, it's a grassy area. The quadrangle is where all the students were allowed to go and smoke cigarettes back in the day. And at lunchtime, in the winter, it would be cold as hell, and you'd have teachers bumming cigarettes from students giving teachers cigarettes, and I said, man, if this was today, people would have lost their jobs. The school, Look, your school committee would have been like, what do you mean teachers are smoking cigarettes with kids? I'm just letting you know, anybody who went to Southeastern back in the day, they'll tell you. You'd be out there in the cold, packing your cigarettes, open one up. Teacher be like, oh man, look, I'm low. Can I get one off you? Yeah, you pass it to the teacher. It's true story. Southeastern Regional, the quadrangle is what they called it, and it was crazy. Like I said, if you had that today, oh man, you'd be on Fox 25 right now.
All over every news station.
So,
everywhere.
I want to thank you for coming on, being honest. November 8th, everybody, like I said, it don't matter who you're voting for. It doesn't matter if you're red. It doesn't matter if you're blue. It doesn't matter if you're green. As long as November 8th, you get your butt up out your seats, you vote. It doesn't matter if you fill out the form that comes to your house that you requested and vote. It don't matter. Voting is power. Regardless of which way it swings or falls, voting is power. People have died for the right to vote. So please, like I was saying earlier, there's nothing more worse than getting in a debate with somebody and then they tell you, oh, I don't even vote. That's why I don't vote. Like I said, that's my biggest pet peeve. That's my biggest. Hey, Margaret, how's it going? Kelly Hanlon says, community sharing. Felicia says, I voted today. I actually dropped my ballot off in the mailbox last week. I put my votes in. Hey, I got to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. And again, that invite is out there for anybody. Actually, next Tuesday is the election. So having people on, I've had a lot of people on. And I gotta thank everybody because I know Southeastern Regional School Committee has had some drama this past year with a member. And I'm glad that everybody who's in the chat that's watching, Brian Joseph Lynch, a lot of people out there, Matt Stanton, how you going? You know, I love how people know about this show. I don't play with the foolishness. I don't like people coming in the chat and dropping stuff that has nothing to do with the candidates that are running. And I'm glad that nobody came in the chat and dropped foolishness about some of the stuff that's going on this past year. So I applaud my viewers. I say I have some of the smartest viewers out there. So I want to thank you, Jamie, for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so let me take a quick break, and then I got to get back in here and get the news to you guys. Right back. Hold on. Here we go. All right. We're back here in the booth, broadcasting live from the City of Champions. I got to thank both my guests, Jamie Hodges, Maggie Pinney, both of them for coming on the show. I got to get into this show, blow it out. We are at 7:51. In the news booth, a man was shot and killed inside a Dorchester barbershop. I just let you guys, we actually talked about that. Barber Herman Maxwell Hinton, 43, was shot and killed inside Celebrity Cuts. He was one of 7 killings, but they upset me because the barbershop. Safe haven. It's not supposed to happen in the place. And they opened up. Love the support. The barbershop reopened this Saturday after the shooting. Why? Because they don't want the business to die. They don't want people to get away. They opened back up on Saturday and they were packed. People came to show support for the barbershop. Said, you know, this is barbershops, churches made to be off limits comes to gun violence. iRobot. You guys are not familiar with iRobot. iRobot is the company in Massachusetts that's responsible for the Roomba robot vacuum. Roomba robot vacuum has now been bought. iRobot in Massachusetts is another one of these companies that struggled during COVID. They started taking losses. Thank you, Jamie, for putting that info in there. Maggie, if you're still watching, please drop your info in there. They were acquired by Amazon. Look, people, pay attention. Amazon is buying small businesses or hurting businesses up, and then they're taking that business and they're selling everything from that business as they acquire them. So Roomba, the robotic vacuum that goes around your house that was here developed in Boston, Massachusetts, is now Amazon product. Looking for Roombas. I doubt they'll change the name because Roomba is well known when you talk about the robot vacuums. So I'm pretty sure they won't change the name. It's just that Amazon owns them now. Keep paying attention, people. That's the third one this week I mentioned. I don't think I mentioned to you guys about the textile. Amazon acquired the nation's largest textile business that supplies to arts and crafts stores such as Jennifer's Crafts Shop, Michael's Crafts, Jen Ann's, and to Walmart. They bought it. They bought all of the stock and all the textiles that you're going to be getting now be coming from Amazon. Most craft stores are on because that up. So, top Twitter executives were fired. Elon Musk took over, as you guys saw at the beginning of the show, the intro. If you missed it, watch it on YouTube. But I had a new intro tonight, intro skit based on Elon Musk. Elon Musk finalized the sale between him and Twitter. He purchased Twitter last week, and on Friday they experienced a 500% increase N-word just on Friday alone, as racist and ignorant people flocked to Twitter to say whatever they wanted. But guess what? Elon Musk says he's come up with a content moderation team because he knows that his ass can still get sued for things that people say. Now, here's a little strategic thing for you people. Elon Musk is thinking about charging people $20 a month for verified accounts. If Elon Musk decides to make everybody pay for Twitter, guess what, people? Then people can say whatever they want because it's a paid service, not a free service open to the public where they have to follow laws and guidelines and free. You know what I'm saying? If it becomes a full paid site like Truth Social and these other sites, say whatever you want. Question is are these racists going to pay $20 a month to get a blue check and to be able to say what they want? $20 a month is a lot. And to be honest, if you ain't got nobody following you and listening to you, new way to run with Dunkin'. Dunkin' perks have gone by the wayside. It's now Dunkin' Rewards. Pulled it out nationwide. My app actually updated the other day, and now you'll be able to mix and match things and pick things and build your rewards up and stack them. They're not gonna expire. You don't have to rush and get 6 coffees in one day because your perks expire. But that's a good thing. Bad thing, legal booth. Dunkin' Donuts in the legal booth. 14. So for those who don't know, Dunkin' Donuts is owned by, they have their own Dunkin' Donuts, and then they have franchise Dunkin' Donuts operate separately. 14 Dunkin' Donuts operated by franchise owners now have to pay $150,000 for 1,200 child labor violations. One of the big violations for Dunkin' Donuts is having teens work past 9 p.m. You guys all know this is a law in this state. Had a young man who worked for a movie theater fell asleep behind the wheel of his car at 11:30 midnight after working his shift, and he got killed in this car accident. And there was a law made where you can't have teens working after, I think it's after 9 p.m. I'm pretty sure it's 9 p.m. because somebody had said it was 10. I think they have to be off the clock at 9 p.m. if they're under 16, and if they're 17, they have to be off it's 10 o'clock. So I think if somebody knows the station on that, please put it in the chat because I know it's a big law. We know the other stuff that they were violating, and that's the hourly pay and all that stuff. Big one is kids working past them hours. That's a no-no. That's a huge violation. Huge violation. That means they had kids that probably were going to school at 15, 16, coming to Dunkin' Donuts to work, and now you work and then you closing. You shouldn't be closing. You got school. So that's kind of what was going on. David DePape, he is the Pelosi attacker. He attacked Paul Pelosi with a hammer. Paul Pelosi underwent surgery on his skull. Far right is saying that David DePape was a gay lover of Paul Pelosi and they're saying that the cops, well, Political started the whole wrong thing because they said that he had his underwear and this and that, and they were trying to say that they're gay lovers. Reach. David DePape was a Trump supporter. He believed in all these crazy conspiracy theories. He came into that house screaming for Nancy Pelosi. During questioning, he said that he wanted to break Nancy Pelosi's kneecaps, kidnap her, and force her to listen to him. Now, this guy has mental health issues. I'm not making excuses for the guy. I'm not saying this or that, but he has mental health issues. He has an ex-girlfriend who's serving time and right now dated him, and she said that he spent the whole entire year believing and thinking that he was lived this whole year thinking this way. So mental health is going to be an issue here, people. I know you hate when people say that. It's not a scapegoat, but I want mental illness brought to the forefront. Yes, we see it on social media. We know on our friends list having issues with. And I'll tell you right now, you ask anybody if they think that mental illness is worse than we know through social media, they're going to tell you yes. They're going to say yes. It's crazy stuff. D'Souza, he is the man who made that film 2000 Mules. He's being sued. Dinesh D'Souza, slapped with defamation. This is the film that all these Republican Trump supporters and Trump Americans are throwing up in your face when you try to debate politics with them. And they throw up the 2000 Mules, and supposedly the election was fixed. You know, the election that wasn't fixed. Well, he had a video of a guy dropping off ballots at the ballot box. The guy was dropping off 5 ballots. So he spun this whole story that the guy had cast multiple votes. No, he didn't. Because anybody who tells you and knows when you vote and drop ballots off, you actually have to put your name on the ballot if you're filling out ballots for someone else, and if you're dropping it off for someone else, that has to be noted on the mail-in ballots. So if you have a mother and a father who are handicapped and can't get down to the ballot box, drop off their vote, you have to sign and say you're dropping it for them, and that proves you're dropping it in the box, and they pull those 5 out, your 5 have to be on there for being that person there. And if that there's checks and balances, people. Don't listen to all the BS that's out. He's being sued right now for character. Right there with Alex Jones, Kanye West, and Mike Lindell, the pillow guy. Kanye West, speaking of Kanye West cannot sell White Lives Matter t-shirts for Candace Owens, because Candace Owens got him on it because she's the one LM movie, because 2 black men own the trademark to White Lives Matter. These 2 DJs have the trademark because they have a listener actually purchased the trademark White Lives Matter, and he didn't want it to be used in a bad way, so he transferred the trademark to these 2 black guys who were DJs who he was fans of. Insane. That's craziness. In the entertainment booth, rest in peace, Jerry Lee Lewis, a rock and roll original who had his demons. I know there are a lot of people talking crap about Jerry Lee Lewis. There's that whole thing about stealing rock and roll from black people. But again, you can't take away the man's talent. You can't take away his achievements. Jerry Lee Lewis dead at 87 years old. And he was like, I hate to say this, but he was Kelly. Lee Lewis. But back then, I hate to say it, back then that was one of them things, man. Things. And again, I talked about this on the show earlier. Migos rapper Takeoff dead at 28, shot in Houston. Not happy about it at all. And I was glad I was able to talk with my previous guest tonight on this. But black community need to do better. We really need to do better. Don't let this man's death go in vain. And the sad part is that Takeoff is the quiet member of the group. Don't do all the crazy, nutty stuff. He was the quiet guy. And supposedly when the dudes came back after the altercation, he was just standing there and he just caught the stray. Sad. It's just, he's the youngest member. youngest member. Quavo is his uncle. Quavo's actually his uncle, and Offset is the cousin of Quavo. So he's the youngest. Rest in peace, Takeoff. They find somebody in black community out there in Houston, speak the F up. You saw it. You saw it at the beginning of the show. Samuel L. Jackson told you all where the blame goes. Okay? This past weekend was the annual Treehouse of Horror on Simpsons. I had to record it. I haven't watched it yet, but as you guys know, they do the Treehouse of Horror. There's like 3 different segments. One of the segments was a tribute to the anime Death Note. And they did the whole segment of that Treehouse of Horror in animation. I know. Some of y'all are probably like, why the hell is he smiling? Why the hell is he so anime guy? I was just bring my camera around and show you guys the anime that I have. Oh, man. Kanye West wants to build his own mini city called the Ecosystem. He's losing people left and right. He wants to build his own mini city where he will have his own trademarks. He'll have his own everything. Again, mental. Sports booth. Bill Belichick with his win over the Jets, 22-17. Bill Belichick has now surpassed the man, Papa Bear, George Hollis, owner and head coach of the Chicago Bears, second place on the NFL's coaching win list. That will put him 19 behind Mr. Shula, Miami Dolphin. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people are talking about Belichick getting fired and Belichick not being here next year and this thing. Belichick ain't going nowhere. Kraft is not going to let Bill Belichick leave New England and get these 19 wins and celebrate being the all-time winningest coach in another city or state. That is not happening, people. That is not happening. So if you think that's happening, you don't know nothing about football, because Kraft ain't going to let that happen. Kraft is not going to let that happen at all.
Sit down.
Thank you. Thank you, Felicia. You jumped the gun. She knew what was coming. Felicia knew exactly what was coming with that one. Tom Brady and Giselle announced their divorce after 13 years. It was quick. So they look, she made more money than him. She was worth more money than him. So when they got together, when they got together, Tom Brady was Tom Brady. He wasn't really blowing up as a quarterback like he was once they got married. So when they got together, she had the money. And everybody probably told her, hey, what if he gets injured? What if he ends up this? What if he ends up that? You don't want this dude taking your money. So I would have to say Tom and Giselle's divorce was probably one. I would say that might be a world record. They announced it was divorced and then it was finalized. Boom. Boom. Giselle was like, take your shit. and now the Pete Davidson Giselle memes are killing me, people. Y'all are so wrong. Here I am. I'm telling Tom Brady to pull up to AB because AB's doing all the photoshops, and I'm telling him to pull up. Now everybody's out here doing memes of Pete Davidson with Giselle because everybody wants them to date now. And I'll tell you something. Hey, if Pete Davidson ends up with Giselle, I'm gonna be mad as hell. Look, he's a funny dude. Comedians can pull some women, man. He had Ariana Grande. He had Kim Kardashian. He had Kate Beckinsale from Underworld. Come on now, Kate. Don't see Kate Beckinsale? If Pete Davidson gets Giselle, we riot. We gonna riot. Also this weekend, Jackson State Tigers Jackson State beat the Southern Tigers. JSU now. Guess what? 8-0. One game away from Coach Dion being perfect on the regular season and bringing TV and all this attention to the HBCUs. Never been done before. I'm applauding it. Black colleges are finally moving up. Byron Allen has bought networks, and now he's talking about putting the HBCU games on TV. But guess what? ESPN was feeling the heat. That's why I'm going to let you all know. That's why ESPN College Game Day was at JSU this weekend. That's why, because ESPN knows they haven't carried any HBCU games. They haven't carried that stuff on ESPN 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 100. Just kidding. But the point is that they really haven't covered it like that. And it was real nice to see that HBCU culture in the forefront of ESPN this past weekend, because they were showing the step competitions and they were showing the step guys on game day and the girls doing the step. The night before, I missed it, but they had the beatbox battle of the bands the night before, which I believe was carried on BET. So it's coming, people. It's coming. This is the first time ESPN's College Game Day did not cover a Power 5 game. They were at the HBCU game. Biden bombshells. President Biden accuses oil companies of war profiteering and threatens a windfall tax. Guess what? Hey, President Biden, you dropped the ball on this one, buddy. You knew that these guys were working with profit and taking profit when COVID first started opening. Everything started to just start opening up. I'm going to tell you, because he knew it. He knew that they were going to take profits before Russia even invaded the Ukraine. The oil companies was pulling their crap. The American oil company owners here in the United States were also screwing us over. Because I'll let you guys remember, and I talked about it on this show, OPEC. When everything started to open back up, right? Remember when everything just started to open back up from COVID? Remember the prices of fuel went like through the roof? Remember? Everybody's saying this and that, and it was because Biden. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The reason why OPEC had released a story, and it was on 60 Minutes. It was on 60 Minutes. OPEC said the reason why prices were high is because they didn't produce enough barrels to ship the excess of oil that they had to produce to handle the opening of. Look, this is OPEC. Stop playing games. Stop playing games. You think we're stupid. You think some of us.
Stop doing that! Stop!
Stop doing that, OPEC. None of us, not all of us are stupid. We seen you. They said they didn't have enough barrels to ship the oil. They didn't make enough barrels to ship the oil, so that's why it created this demand and put the prices up. Come on now, stop it. Stop it. So now President Biden has decided he's going to do something and threatens a windfall tax. Come on, Biden, you know what's going to happen. You hit them with a windfall tax, and then they're just going to pass it on to us, like they always do. Because this is bigger than just the president. I've said this before, and I've said it again. The president has no control over the gas prices. And here we are coming in November, and the home heat and oil prices are going to be here in the Northeast because everybody's going to order. So I hope everybody who buys oil, I hope you got it early. In the Ukraine invasion. Here we go. Pay attention. Russian oligarch, one of Putin's bankers, he has renounced his Russian citizenship over the Ukraine war. Big. Pay attention, people. This is a big. The oligarchs are the people who Putin runs his money and flushes his money through. The people who Putin keeps rich. We have these sanctions and all these things going on. This here, renouncing your citizenship, has nothing to do with the money you might be losing. Done with this Ukraine war thing, renouncing his Russian citizenship. Now, there are high-level oligarchs. Keep an eye on it, because there have been some suspicious deaths that haven't made mainstream media, but it's out there in Russia, close to Putin, who were allies, but were now speaking out. They've had some deaths, last month and two. Close to Putin dying of mysterious. One guy was just found last week. They hung him outside the fence of his house. Hung him on his fence. They said it was suicide. Why would he go outside and hang himself on his fence? Outside is a personal thing. He would have did that in his house. On Russia, you think stupid? That was a message. That was a message sent right there. Hey, thanks everybody for checking out the show, supporting the show. Good stuff with you. Those who support my banners and my hats, the shows I produce and take care of. She Talks Football Podcast, Drafting the Circuit, Talks to Mike Radio, Talk Back with Gloria Shea, Maddie C Sports for You and Me. It's 8:30, and Happy Hour with Lito. Those guys, triple. Oh, I got to take this off. This is actually over. It ended. Friday was actually the last day. No more Brockton's Farmers Market. It will be back next year. That one. Boston Music Awards, Videographer of the Year nominee, and Scott Sandinato. Check him out. Make sure you put a vote. He did Anna Marie's Let's Roll video. Also, I was able to be at the It Factor competition this weekend. Last Sunday night was the finale. Man, Leroy Streets took home the title, $5,000. He killed it. He killed it. But everybody else also tore it up. Royale, Juice. I got Juice Quest. I think their names were. I gotta correct it. I'm gonna get them on the show and make that up to them. Also, Royale and Tati Queen. Tati also performed. Thank you, Mr. Benson, General. I whooped your ass last year in the battle. So good stuff. Also, this Friday night, Pro Wrestling Show Genesis, November 4th, Brockton VFW. Get your tickets now. Always a good show there. And as I mentioned, IGY6 fundraiser, second one, Saturday night. Your boy Sinister One will be DJing. Amber Smith was in the chat. Amber Smith, 50-50 tickets. This is an event that puts support dogs with veterans who are suffering from PTSD. They raise the money and then they match these veterans up with dogs. Depression. It is a great cause. Selling Apple tickets out to Amber Smith and Travis Partington. Right? And then the Veterans Day Parade will be Friday, November 11th, 9:30 a.m. Make sure you set up, and then the parade kicks off at 10, and there'll be a ceremony at 11 at City Hall. So again, the Veterans Day Parade is Friday, November 11th. Mark's Army Book Drive. Drop off your books at 48 Lodge Street, October 20th to December 20th. And also, this Friday night, Vienna Marie will be at the DNA Cipher in Massachusetts, Boston. Address different, but go on Vienna Marie's website, Facebook page. That the address has changed, and you'll be able to get the there. But please, Friday night DNA Cipher, and it's going to be this Friday night in Boston. So please come out and support us. Also, please make sure to check out the latest project. It's Personal, streaming everywhere. And that's it. Good show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank my guests, Maggie Pinney and Jamie Hodges. They are running for Southeastern Regional Vocational Technical High School. I graduated from there. See, when we were younger, we used to just say, serve this. That's the anagram. Serve this. SERVTA. That's what we always say, because it was a mouthful. But they are running for the school committee representing Brockton. Please, next Tuesday night, make sure to vote. And next Tuesday night, because today is the first Tuesday, but because next Tuesday is election, my guys, R Squared and Ken Diesel, are going to be here next week. R Squared R Squared has written 2 great pieces over at the Corridor in regards to the Democrats and how they're dropping the ball in this upcoming midterms. And he also wrote another one in regards to this violence on Paul Pelosi. So check him out. They will be on the show here next week. And hey, I want to thank everybody who support me during that zombie apocalypse. Like I said, I need to thank you all. It got real hectic here at the end of last week's show. If you missed the show and you want to see what's down, check it out on YouTube. Other than that, Rest in peace, Takeoff. Those. Stop the effing gun violence, people. Black culture. Smarten up. SpongeBob, take us home.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine with your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I made it, this don't repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, and y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak ass hoes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, I got my own now. I get high when I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com.
Enter website.